structure as well. So yeah, obviously I have to write down something. So we have worked with 1D arrays in JavaScript. We have done this before as well, quite a number of times. It's not something new for all of you. Okay. Excuse for my handwriting if it's not really good. So as far as 1D array is concerned, okay. Let's talk about because we didn't discuss the lower bound, the upper bound, although you know it. So let's say if I have I have a list where I have, let's say, 6 this is my array list, right? Right. So this will be my index 0. This will be my index 1, 2, and this will be 3, and so on and so on. Whatever. I mean, you can write 4, 5, whatever. So the point is, as far as this particular is concerned, we call this the LB, which is known as the lower bound. And this one, the highest one, we call it the upper bound, which is also recognized as UB, which is the upper bound. So these are your index. That's your list, lower bound and upper bound. Now, if you somehow declare this 1D array, so how will the declaration of this will be? So if the declaration of the pseudocode will be in this way. We will write it declare identity. You can have identifier, and here we go, whatever array, and this is going from 0 till 3 of, since we have integer values, we will type integer. And if we want to write the specific pseudocode of this, it will be like this. We will write so if in the exam they ask you to write the declaration, you will write it this way, writing identifier and integer. And since the name of my list was declare my list, array 0 to 3 of integer. Okay, now this could have also been designated as, for example, there could be any other example. For example, we could have talked about a list where we had a list of countries, okay, comma, UK, comma, USA, okay. We could have even had like this. But in that particular case, if this was the case, we would have said of string, obviously these are all strings. Okay, so we would have written that case was declare list, okay, array, and the same way we would have written the following of integer. So this is obviously your 1D array. Just wanted to have a recap before we start our discussion with 2D arrays. 2D arrays are actually quite important in entire computing and graphics. When you talk about matrices, when you talk about, let's say, SVG files, okay? SVG files basically are your graphic files that have vector-based information, okay? In that case, oh, sorry, Aisha is waiting. You will be using 2D arrays for that. A lot more information can be saved. Okay, any problem? Yes, beta?
So I have a question about the list one, the last you wrote of the string.
Yeah.
So how will we write in pseudo like the pseudocode? Like we'll write declare list and then the array brackets 0 is to 2?
Absolutely. No. I talking about this, the countries one.
Yes.
Yeah, so we will write list is the same list about if the information has been provided. Okay. Or we could write string one,
Oh,
string three.
we write whole the information.
Yeah, exactly. Or if the information is not given, we could write string one, string two, string three, or we could even leave the double quotes empty and just put a space or something like that. It could be in different ways.
Okay.
Right. So let's.
सर
Yes, beta.
सर हमें डिक्लेयर में इंटीजर और स्ट्रिंग बताना जरूरी है
जी बिल्कुल जरूरी है अब सूडो कोड में whenever you write this you have to write this और सूडो कोड में ये भी important है कि you have to follow some rules ये जो declare आप लिखोगे this has to be in okay array का word use करो it has to be in capital or integer का word use करो it has to be in capital because this is the way pseudo codes are written and we have to use the same sequence okay right so can we start our discussion with 2D arrays can I rub this yeah, it's being recorded. I'll share it with you. So you don't have to note it down. You can note it down. I would prefer. But let's start with 2D array. So as far as 2D arrays are concerned, so 2D array. Well, in case of 2D array, let's say, let me just create, let's say, my array. And let me just try to make it as neat as possible. So here we go. Sorry. Right, so we can have just not a very extended one, 3, and we can have over here is row, and then we'll have this again row column 1 and row column 2 as index. And if we refer to this, we have 0 and column 1 column 2 column 3 column and let's say just 4 column, right? And we can obviously have information over here. So obviously this is the way it is. Oh, I cannot make straight lines, but anyway, you got it. These are your grids. So over here, what we have over here is this particular is your lower bound column. This over here is your upper bound column. As far as this is concerned, this is your lower bound row, and this over here is your upper bound row. So you see, obviously it's two-dimensional. Your information in a 2D array is going both ways. Your information in a 2D array will be going horizontally and vertically both. Okay, so as far as your 1D array is concerned, 1D is just a straight line, it's just 1D. 2D array has 2 dimensions, one this way, one this. 3D array it's not in our syllabus, but 3D array basically has 3 dimensions in this way, right? So this is how 3D basically is represented. That's your 2D and that's your 1D. Yes?
Sir, what about the rows and columns in the middle? जैसे ऊपर वाला is lower bound, नीचे वाला is upper bound, तो बीच में दूसरी rows है.
आप सही कह रहे हो. The lower bound जो है ये, हम बात कर रहे हैं column and rows कि we are defining कि ये जो है, this is known as what? This is known as a lower bound row. This is known as the upper bound row. Row की बात करो ना, ये lower नहीं है row, ये higher row नहीं है. So lower bound row, upper bound row. If we talk about the column, ये आपकी lower bound column है और ये upper bound column है. जब मैंने आपसे बात की थी 1D array की, 1D array में we just had the lower bound and upper bound because in case 1D array, the information was stored just in one. That's it. We had this and we had this. That's it. In 2D array, we have information both ways, vertically or horizontally, both. You get the point? Okay, good example. Your Excel spreadsheet. You have rows and columns. That's 2D, isn't it? You can have fields row-wise and column-wise. वो भी एक 2D array की example है, an Excel sheet. Is that clear?
But वो rows and columns तो समझ आ गई, but ये इसके अंदर भी कोई पैटर्न होना चाहिए ना, जैसे अगर ऊपर लोअर बाउंड है तो उससे अगले वाले में उसके अंदर भी कुछ होना चाहिए ना कि फिर एंड में नीचे आके अपर बाउंड हो.
नहीं बेटा, बात सुनो. जो आप अरे डिक्लेयर करते हो ना, आपने एक अरे डिक्लेयर करनी है that goes from 0 to 10. तो 0 is your lower bound, 10 is your upper bound. अब आप उसमें जो दरमियान में जो आ रहे हैं उनको तो डिफाइन नहीं कर रहे ना. That's how we define it. We have to define the beginning point of the array and the ending point of the array. The beginning point of the column, the ending point of the column. The beginning point of the row, the ending point of the row. अब दरमियान में वो तो हम लूप के साथ yes we can. मैं फॉरेन लूप्स के साथ डिस्कस करूंगा वो. So that's separate topic.
Okay, समझ आ गई. Thank you.
वो तो इटरेशन से हम we can retrieve it one by one. फॉरेन लूप के साथ we can you do that. And we'll work on it. ठीक है. Now हम इसको किस तरह रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे? ओके, मैं आपको पाइथन में भी करके दिखाता हूँ इसको. We'll work on that. मगर आपको एक रफ सा आइडिया देता हूँ if I can handle this. Okay, so let's say today what I'll do is I'll just create is over here is let's say region list. Okay, is equals. I'm talking about 2D. I'm not talking about 1D now. Okay, forget about 1D. We've discussed it before as well. So how do we declare it? Since it's an array, we start with this. और फिर हम आते हैं इधर, and इधर आके हम declare करते हैं in the square brackets. Okay. Let's say we can have is Pakistan. We can have over here is China. And close this. We need to have is a comma. That's the important thing. Then we will have another. Over here we'll have another region. We can say, let's say, whatever, Canada, spellings are wrong, it's fine. And then we can probably have is USA. And then we'll have another column, comma. और इसके बाद we can have just the last one, probably we just create 3. Let's say we can have Spain, Europe में, and we can have over here is, here we go. We don't put a comma because comma हम डालते हैं अगले के लिए. So this will close over here. This is closing over here. So this is how we define a particular 2D array. Okay. What's happening over here is that you can see is in the square brackets between these, I have sub arrays. One holds this information, the other holds this information, the third holds this information. But the most interesting thing over here is that we can retrieve this information exactly in the same manner. मतलब ये मैं आपको करके भी दिखाऊंगा. अगर मैं कहता हूँ let's say print, and if I say print, और मैं print करता हूँ let's say region list को, और region list में आके मैं कह देता हूँ let's say 0, 1. Okay, what do I get? 0, 1 में 0, 1 में मुझे मिलेगा 0, 1 में I'll get PAK. I should retrieve PAK. So इसी तरह if I change this into 1, 1, I will get is 1, sorry, 1, 1 में मुझे मिलेगा USA because I have 1 and I have 1. So 0, 1, 0, 1. You get my point, all of you. ये करके देखते हैं and then you will have a better idea. And this is one of the best example through which I can explain you how 2D array are represented. Yeah. Should I proceed with Python and come back over here again? Yeah, you have any question? वहाँ apply करके देखते हैं. And then let's see how it goes. So I can simply quit this. I can write it over here. So let's say दोबारा create कर लेते हैं. It won't take much time. So मैंने कहा था ये करेंगे region underscore list, right, is equals to, I'll just take this down. इधर आके I'll define over here is comma again a comma, and then what did I do? Sorry. And then the last one we can have. Right. So here we go. We have the following information. Right. अब इसको अगर let's say I use print और print में हम करते हैं region list. और region list में let's try to print is 0 and 1. Right. So let's run and see what happens. Indentation list 0, 1. So I get over here is 0, 1 is China. बिल्कुल सही है. Pakistan होना था by 0 and 0. Let's try. So if I say 0, 0, I get Pakistan. What if I want to get Italy, Uswa? What do I type? Yeah, what do I type for Italy?
1 1.
1, 1? Sure. You're saying 1 and 1. Okay, let's try. Oh. Anyone wants to tell me how do I get Italy?
Sir,
2
1
1
2.
Hmm?
1
2 1.
Sir, 1 पहले आएगा.
नहीं, 2 1 सही क्या? Get the point. So this is what 2D array actually is, right? It doesn't mean that I can only have this. I can keep on extending the information. I can have multiple rows. I can have multiple columns. That's the way we can extend it. Yes. And any question in this particular part before I continue? It's pretty easy concept, not a complicated one. Yeah. Anyone? So is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Let's say मैं for को discuss कर लूँ just to elaborate the point. If I want to retrieve information, if I want the entire list to be printed out, मैं कह सकता हूँ for let's say for region in region list. Foreign, everyone is clear about foreign, right? Anyone has any doubt in foreign? It has to be clear. It's very, very important. किसी को है doubt तो मैं explain कर देता हूँ कि foreign किस तरह काम करता है.
Sir, कर
Sir,
दे
I
please.
don't know. जी मुझे नहीं पता.
मैं सुनो. फिर मैं इस पे दोबारा आया तो मैं इसको ना copy कर देता हूँ. I'll come back to this again. ठीक है, we'll discuss it again. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so for in Python, let me start from the scratch. Let me tell you कि उसको use कैसे किया जाता है and how does foreign work. Let's say I have x is equals to और मैं इसको डिफाइन कर देता हूँ. Maybe I can write over here is Mr. Sime. I can write over here is 5, and I can write over here is 2.3. Let me not put this in double quotes. Okay, and then if I say simply over here is print x, it will obviously do is if I run this, it will print me this information. So this is not what I want. I want every element within my array to be printed out individually. This is where foreign has to be used. It goes and fetches each and every element individually one by one. इस तरह काम करेगा ये. इसके लिए what we can do is we can come over here and we can write over here is for, let's say we can use I will basically do is I will first go and fetch Mr. Sime, then I will go and get this, then I will go and get this. So I can say for I want to get for I in X, go and find for I in X, right? And उसके बाद मैं करता हूँ, we can is print I. So if I run this now, what I get is individually indentation. Yeah, sorry. I get Mr. Sime C15 2.3 individually. क्योंकि हो क्या रहा है? For I ने क्या किया? I variable it went into X. X was what? For I in X. Go in X, and one by one you take out this, take out this, take out this. So this is what for in basically. For this in that, you get my point, Alpha. For I in this.
So what does I mean, like stands for?
I is any variable. I is any variable. You could use B, C, whatever. मैंने वैसे यूज किया. और बात ये
Okay.
करें हम उसके अंदर उसको execute कर रहे हैं. We're trying to get information out of the entire array. Get this in this. Try to fetch this in this. Yes or no?
Sir, but ये अगर this in this वाली situation है, तो I को तो हमें already predefine नहीं करना चाहिए या something like that.
नहीं. I को predefine करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. मैं I को use कर रहा हूँ individually fetch करने के लिए from X. I तो खुद कुछ नहीं कर रहा ना. I जाएगा इसके अंदर पहले इसको देखेगा. फिर उसको प्रिंट करेगा, फिर इसका जाएगा, फिर इसको प्रिंट करेगा, फिर इसको जाएगा. It's not the way JavaScript में होता है, वो थोड़ा different for loop था. For in is a bit different one. So I individually will go and fetch them out and print them one by one. I इसको print किया X के अंदर, फिर I इसके अंदर print किया X के अंदर, फिर I को इसके अंदर print किया X के अंदर, and that's why I get this information one by one.
Sir,
Yes, बेटा.
sir, अगर हमने इसको एक ही लाइन में लाना है लेकिन array की फॉर्म में नहीं लाना है तो फिर
वो भी डिस्कस करो बेटा. बिल्कुल वो फिर डिफरेंट हो जाएगा. I will discuss that with you. Okay, वो फिर मुझे while से करना पड़ेगा, but I will. इसको हम थोड़ा डिफरेंट तरीके से भी कर सकते हैं. वो let's say if I say over here is ये probably उसवा को आंसर हो जाए इसका. उसवा if I do this, if I type over here is Mr. Sime, right? और अब क्या होगा? In case of string, वो तो array थे ना. That was an array. अब इसके इसमें क्या होगा?
Mr. Sime
Mr.
What should be printed?
The individual
Mr.
address
अलग होगा
are
और
in singular.
Who said individual? Hamna?
I did, sir.
Okay, very good, Nisa. Very good. Individually, this will be printed. One for I in this, for I in this, for I in space, for I in S. Uswa, is this clear now? कि I क्या कर रहा है?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, मैं for को और discuss कर लेता हूँ. Let me discuss for के साथ और. We have discussed it before, probably you've forgotten. For I in range, we have discussed in range before. Remember? मैंने range पहले discuss किया हुआ है. Let's say 10. Okay. और इसमें कर देते हैं हम. Let's say okay. So this will be doing what? It will be printing from 0 till 9. Agree with me? For I in range. So if you want to print in range, for I in range, so it will do is it will automatically print in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Yes or no? That's the way in range works.
सर अगर हमें सिर्फ 2 to 8 चाहिए
हम्म
तो हम क्या print 2 to 8
चाहिए। अच्छा, उसके लिए हम क्या करेंगे? हम रखेंगे 2, 8. Okay, let's try. याद है वो इट्स नॉट इंक्लूसिव, हमने पहले भी डिस्कस किया था। 2 to 8 जो अगला होता है तो इंक्लूसिव नहीं होता, आपको याद होगा। यस और नो आयशा?
Yes,
ओके
yes.
जी बेटा बोलो। Now, do you remember? We also discussed this long time back. If we want this to increment by 2, हम लिखते थे comma 2, the third variable, the third parameter. I'm so sorry. The third parameter over 2. इसका मतलब ये है कि it will increment by 2. Do you remember this? Yeah. So starting, ending, not inclusive, and increment by how many values? 4 in range. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
What if I want to go from?
Yes, sir.
What if I want to go from 20 to 10? क्या करेंगे?
-1 लगा ले।
क्या लिखूंगा? 20 से oh, my keyboard is not working. So I write 20
comma 10, comma -1.
comma, very good, excellent, comma -1. Exactly. So what did I do wrong? I'm so sorry, I didn't put that.
Sir, that
जी always close this with this. So we get is from right 20 till 11. So if I have to make it till 10, I write over here is 9 because it's not included.
9.
So we get from 20 to 10. Is that clear? So for in की थोड़ा समझ आई है for in क्या होता है? We'll keep on using it. We'll keep on discussing what foreign basically does. So अब मैं अगर जाता हूँ वापस अपने example पे, the one I was discussing before, this is what I did. So if I had to list each and every element of this, so this is what happened. It printed me out. For region, I just named it appropriately for region in region. That's my region list. I have a region list. So for region list, it will loop through each and every and print it out. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Right. Good. Okay. Okay. Let's. मैं तो अगर आपको एग्जांपल देने की कोशिश करता हूँ. I hope you get it. Let's see if I have is for region list में करता हूँ और मैं कहता हूँ let's say for country region So you see, how is it working now? मैं पूरी डिस्प्ले कराता हूँ. क्या हो रहा है अब? Foreign को मैंने और elaborate किया. I've used another foreign to do what? पहले क्या रहा था? My every array was being displayed separately. क्योंकि मैंने एक foreign use किया था, तो उसने हर whenever it saw the comma, उसने उसको separately it worked and displayed me out. Now what I want to do is, I don't want to just display the arrays as in groups. I would like the elements within individual array to be listed down. तो मैंने क्या किया for region in region list, उसके अंदर जाओ, फिर for country in region, ठीक है, and then print country. So what happens is individually these are printed.
Sir,
Yes, beta.
सर अगर
सर लेकिन कंप्यूटर को कैसे पता है कि वो जो हमने मतलब हमारी अरे के अंदर कंट्रीज है,
ओहो, आप
वो
इसका
तो स्ट्रिंग कंसीडर करेगा।
यू गेट द पॉइंट, इसका ताल्लुक से नहीं है, राइट? आप कोई भी यूज कर सकते हो, यू गेट द पॉइंट।
सर
यस,
आप क्लैरिफाई करेंगे कि लाइन नंबर 8 के अंदर हमने रीजन क्यों लिखा है, व्हाई नॉट रीजन लिस्ट?
अब देखो बात सुनो, मैंने एक वेरिएबल यहाँ डिक्लेयर किया था, लेट दिस बी y, okay, and let this be y. What, so just to make it appropriate, I use the following word. It will give me the same output. मतलब ये है कि मैंने दो for use किया, मैं दोबारा बता रहा हूँ कि for use होता है to find the element, for y in this, find y in this. So first of all क्या करेगा, it will find y in this, and in this. So it displayed me that. When I am using further for x, उसके बाद for x in y, तो मतलब y के अंदर जाओ और उसके अंदर display me this, display me this, display me this, display me this, and this display me this. So individually then it goes and displays me that. First it breaks this into sub foreign, क्या लोग break करता है इनको, और फिर further इसको break करता है।
सर तो डायरेक्टली क्यों नहीं ब्रेक एक ही लगा के डायरेक्टली नहीं हो सकता, दो क्यों लगाने?
नहीं, वो आप सही कह रहे हो कि 2D अरे में मैं आपको कॉन्सेप्ट यूं एक्सप्लेन करना चाह रहा हूँ, स्टेप बाय स्टेप। आप डायरेक्टली भी कर सकते हो, बिल्कुल सही, राइट? ये तो वैसे
डायरेक्टली करना
ये तो वैसे एज एन एक्स्ट्रा डिस्कशन शुरू कर ली थी, ठीक है?
Sir, if
जी
you
बेटा,
want them to appear in a particular order, can we do that using a for loop?
वी कैन यूज फॉर लूप। मगर उससे पहले हम थोड़ा डिस्कशन और कर लेते हैं इनके ऊपर, अबाउट अरे की फर्दर प्रॉपर्टीज के ऊपर, ठीक है? उसमें वी कैन डिस्कस इट लेटर ऑन एज वेल। उसके लिए हम ये करना पड़ेगा, ये देखो, फॉर एग्जांपल आई हैव टू यूज फ्रॉम numpy, from numpy. Numpy is a built-in module again. Remember हमने module last time यूज किया था math का, numpy from star means import everything, okay? Now if I go here and if I say, let's say if I have a array 1 में declare करता हूँ is equals to और इसके अंदर let me just define multiple. Let me define over here is, let's say 1 2 3 comma or 4 5 6. I don't have to use another comma. और इसके अंदर if we want is, let's say print AR1 dot D type. If we want to know the data type of the array, okay, how will we do that? Well, if I obviously run this, it tells me it's an integer. Okay, so you can know the data type of your elements within an array, जो कुछ क्योंकि वहाँ पर चल सकते हैं। अच्छा, इसमें अब इम्पोर्टेंट बात यह है कि आपका प्रॉब्ली ये ना चले in your PyCharm. Please listen carefully, क्यों ना चले? क्योंकि there are lots of modules that are not installed, and they are installed but they have to be reinstalled in PyCharm. Please have a look किस तरह। ये जो numpy, some people call it numpy, some call it numberpy. It's basically जो numpy is a separate module that handles 2D arrays and 3D arrays within Python. Okay.
Sir, why does it say int 32?
Sorry.
So why is there 32 in front of int?
Oh, better. There are different kinds of integer values, 32 and 64. So presently ये जो हम डील कर रहे हैं ये 32 प्रोसेसिंग के साथ है। Okay, there is also 64 as well. मगर हम PyCharm 32 के साथ ही डील कर रहे हैं।
Yes.
अब if you run this code on your PyCharm, आपका ये error आएगा, it will say numpy module not present. आप पहले रन करके देख लेना, it will give you this error. So for that, what you need to do is you need to come into settings, and you will ये को numpy मेरा installed है, okay? Let me just remove it. क्या आपको पता चलता है how to do it? इसको मैं remove करता हूँ, okay? So I don't have numpy, ठीक है? you will come into project Python interpreter and you will come into plus. इसमें आके ये आपके सारे built-in modules हैं, बहुत सारे हैं. आप यहाँ लिख लेना, आप numpy, when you type this, you will get this numpy. और numpy की description आ रही है, numpy is a fundamental package for array computing within Python. Okay, like I told you, आपके जितनी भी array के calculations वगैरह होंगी, whatever, you have to use numpy. Okay, इसको मैं कहता हूँ over here, you can see down here, install package. It will just take some time, and it will install it for us. Yeah, package numpy installed successfully. I can now close this. So you see numpy is present over here. Okay, right? Even if you're using the default IDE of Python, उधर भी आपको इसको install करना पड़ेगा. Okay, but you're not using that. उसका एक different तरीका है. उसका आप करते हो use, आप command में आते हो